Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining me on another edition of CBT Now. The buy-sell market continues to make headlines this year, and despite some economic uncertainty and some headwinds, deals are still getting done. Joining us today is someone who knows this space very, very well, Mr. Willie Beck, co-managing partner at Bel Air Partners. Thank you so much, Willie, for joining us on the show once again. I know that our viewers get a lot out of your visit, so thanks for taking the time with us.
Jim, great to be with you.
How's it going at Bel Air Partners? I understand you guys closed another transaction recently.
Yeah, just this past Monday, got home last night, but
Nice,
it was
congratulations.
one of our buy side representation deals where we actually help the buyer find a specific dealership in a specific market and then work with them to close the transaction. And the interesting thing on this one, this buyer, this was his first franchise dealership.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
Okay, that's a
uh,
big deal.
an entre Yeah, an entrepreneur, had a used car dealership,
Okay.
but really wanted to get into the specific new car franchise,
Yep.
Ford. And we identified a Ford store and worked with him to close that transaction.
That is fantastic. You told me before we got recording that the seller had been in business since 1939.
Yes, the store was formed in
Wow.
1939, third generation,
Incredible.
many cousins and all that. And
Yeah.
it was just time for them to sell, and it was a perfect timing for our client to jump in with a Ford franchise.
Sure, sure. Do you see a lot of that? I mean, the old adage is that beginning with the third generation, all of a sudden that generation really starts to think heavy about selling the opportunity, right? Because the founder and maybe the son or daughter that helped them build the company, and then the grandkids that take over are saying, "Well, I'm not as tied to this maybe as my grandfather was," right?
So that can be for sure. And in
Yeah.
this instance, there were a couple of partners that originally
Mhm.
formed that first dealership. So there were many different offspring each generation.
Sure.
So it got very complicated that way. But a traditional family, second generation transitioning to the third, particularly when there are spouses involved, perhaps some are working in the business, some are not. It can get very complicated.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about the buy-sell market right now. How is it? I mean, you hear so much about tariffs and taxes, and the big beautiful bill and all of that goes along with that. And there's some concerns out there. But how is the market overall?
I think the market overall is fine. Certainly, it's taking longer for deals to consummate,
Mm,
whether that's the factory approval process, the due diligence process, lender requirements. But there are very sophisticated buyers out there that know how to do deals
hmm.
and have the personnel in place to move very quickly when it's an attractive target. You mentioned some of the headwinds right now.
Hmm.
Certainly, with the one big beautiful bill being passed, that eliminates a lot of uncertainty around taxes.
Yeah, that's right.
But we still have the tariffs,
Hmm.
and we're watching those negotiations in real time.
Yeah,
It's amazing that perhaps the UK, the EU, Japan, South Korea have finalized their negotiations, but they're at a lower rate than what vehicles produced in Canada and Mexico could be tariffed at. So, all those things need to continue to be worked out before that issue is resolved.
yeah,
And then,
yeah.
of course, you have the Fed. And certainly our president's putting a lot of pressure on the Fed right
You
now.
think? That's saying it
Uh,
lightly.
Yeah, and with the firing of the BLS person, um,
Yeah,
there's a lot going on, and certainly
there is.
lower rates would benefit consumers
Yep.
in lower car payments, and benefit dealers in lower financing costs. So it's looking like the Fed is going to, have to move at
Yeah.
some point because of not so much the inflation piece, which they're still trying to determine on the tariffs, but the employment side of the equation.
That's right. Either the Fed chair will move or they will move the Fed chair. Right? And I'm sure that if and when that time comes, because I guess his term is going to be expiring anyway. But when that time comes, something tells me that Trump's going to get his way, and he's going to put somebody in there that immediately will lower the interest rates. I think lower interest rates are on the horizon one way or the other, don't you?
I do, and I think they should be. implemented when they're really called for, and it's looking like we're getting very close to that given the employment numbers.
Sure.
So, but you're
Sure.
right. I think the Fed chair's role expires in May. So within the next couple months, there'll be the nomination process,
Hmm.
and we'll see who that new pick is.
Yeah.
Should be very interesting.
It should be very interesting. There's no question about it. Might be Melania. You might put Melania in there, and then he'll get what he wants on the low rates. So talk to us with all given all of this. How's your advisory business doing?
The advisory business is going well. The buy sell piece of our business, we're still very active. I perhaps didn't fully answer your question, but we've got 5 sell side deals in various stages of process right now, and
Wow,
2 buy side deals. So we're
nice.
very active on the buy sell side. But our valuation business and our other advisory business is equally growing as quickly.
Hmm.
We have a number of valuations that we're doing for various things. We've talked about this in the past: estate planning, divorces, partner buyouts, gifting to children, uh, all those various things.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, we have a couple litigation support projects where we're expert witnesses, and we're working with 2 clients right now on some equity raising. So
Oh,
that's exciting use of our talents.
that's great. And I know I've spoken to you before about this and your colleagues there at Bel Air Partners about the just for those dealers that go, look, I'm not yet ready to sell yet, but I would like to know what the value of my dealership is or my group is. And they'll come to you and just to get a valuation. Could be for a number of reasons. Might be for succession planning or estate planning or what have you. But you do a lot of work in that area as well, right? Without having to sell the operation, you can advise somebody and give them a pretty accurate number on what their group and what their dealerships are worth.
Yeah, we're working on one project exactly that right now. It's a gentleman in his mid-50s. He has 3 children, all in sort of college at the moment.
Hmm.
He's certainly in no position to want to sell,
Hmm.
but he wants to know what it's worth. And he also wants to know, how do I maximize the value? What areas do I really need to
Mm.
improve upon? I think he knows, but getting that third-party validation
Yeah.
from the various industry metrics that we utilize, we can demonstrate to him, through data,
Hmm.
where he could be, and then if he does improve to those levels, what the dealership could really be worth in a couple of years.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I asked this question of one of your colleagues in the space, and I said, "Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market?" And they said, "Yes." So I'll ask you the same question. What is it right now? If I'm sure dealers probably ask you that question, right? I'm thinking about selling. Is it a seller's market or is it a buyer's market?
And the answer is yes. And the reason is, each deal is so unique.
Yeah,
Whether it's the brand, the geographic location, the performance, if it's underperforming or overperforming,
yeah,
and then who the right buyer is for that particular circumstance.
yeah,
So it's not cookie cutter at all. Every deal is unique, and we have to find the right buyer for that. Sometimes the buyer and the seller just can't agree on what that rational price is. The
right.
seller may have expectations as to what they need, and the buyer might be very disciplined in what they can offer.
Sure.
But deals are getting done, as you well know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
people are getting there.
Yeah, I'm seeing some dealer groups out there. In fact, some friends of mine that have purchased Nissan stores and Stellantis stores. That was a tough sell just a year ago, but one friend of mine is now up to like 6 Nissan stores. 5 years ago, I think he had one. Very bullish on Nissan and buying Nissan stores, and also acquiring Stellantis stores. Talk to us about that. You think both these brands are going to make it and come back around? I mean, obviously with Stellantis, they've got some iconic brands in that under that umbrella. But
Right. And for dealers that have a group of stores, certainly buying low on distressed brands like those, believing that they've hit the bottom,
yeah,
could be a very smart play. And if they have the capacity to get in there and fully operate those, perhaps they have managers that are ready for that next up job, and they don't want to lose them to another organization because they don't have a general manager position available. Um, and it depends on the market as well, whether they can sort of bridge the gap on the new car side with some used cars and parts and service and other departments that can help them through until Nissan and Stellantis have the right pricing, the right inventory, and the right consumer acceptance.
Sure, sure. Any final words of wisdom to share with dealers that are listening about maybe those that are thinking about either buying or selling right now?
I don't know if this is wisdom or not, but we recently added to our team a second time this year. We brought on a 40-year industry veteran who's been a CPA to small dealers as well as the very largest groups. He sold his accounting firm a few years ago to a much larger firm. He worked there for a while and decided to retire. And like many dealers, they can't stay retired. So Paul wanted to come back and engage with his former clients and dealers again. So we were very excited when we started talking with him about that, and lucky to have him on board. So
That's great.
we now have some real, super experience in the accounting piece. So
That's
glad
great.
to have him.
What's Paul's last name? Because there's probably many.
Paul Charles.
Paul
Paul
Charles.
Charles.
They
Yes.
probably many of our viewers know him if he's been in the retail automotive community. So that's great.
Yeah, he's
Congratulations.
based in Long Island, so many dealers certainly around that area of the world would know him.
I'm from there, so you mean Long Island, right?
I have cousins in Islip, so I understand that.
There you go. I think I have cousins in Islip too. It's a beautiful place. It really is. I'm from Garden City, Long Island. So for those of you that are from Garden City, send me a direct message. I'd love to hear from you. But Willie Beck, managing partner of Bel Air Partners. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. It's always great catching up, and I know our dealer viewers get a lot out of your visit. So thanks so much.
Thanks, Jim. Good to be with you.
You too.